shows the notion of what had been contemplated for that location, this as being that defined heritage character area. So these are things you've already seen, because these are, I'm just going to power through these. These are examples of what's been built, but we just walked it, so you don't do that.
Gary,
Yeah.
can I ask, if there was such a strong vision for those buildings, those heritage buildings, at any point did the city say, these are the shapes of the buildings we want, what do you want in them? Like rather than saying, what sort of building do you want, or how do you want to use the site, has the city ever said, this is what we want, what could we fill with?
That's how the vision started. It was very much that you're going to keep those buildings, and you're going to work with them. And that's why they were protected, and that was the vision, and that's why the coppersmith shop is there, and the pipe shop is there. It's why the Pier 7 restaurant looks the way it does, even though it's a new building. And that vision came into not total conflict, but partial conflict with the vision of a national maritime center. And that vision was so strong, and the appeal of that kind of a destination was so strong, it pushed over, if you would, the notion of keeping some of those heritage buildings on Lot 5. But what survived was the idea that it would still bring back the machine shop and would still, pick up on some of the elements, but they'd be new elements with what they did on the remainder of the site. So today we're kind of at a point we kind of have the remnants of two visions. The one thing that's still valid is the machine shop being retained. Yeah, so the machine shop is part of the current vision, as is the Flamborough head. And then the question is, what should, and that, at some point, there's obvious reasons to carry on with the vision. Now that the decision was made, and I think a lot of people were very surprised we couldn't get the feds in the province to make that National Maritime Center happen. So now where we are is that you don't have the two buildings on the east end of Lot 5. And so, would you recreate them? There'd be a bit of sort of a fake history thing, which you try and avoid usually. So, but you could pick up on the character of them. So, but I think it's fair to say right now, it's probably up for grabs a little bit in terms of what Lot 5's vision is going to be. But it's in the context of everything that's happened so far and the things that are around it. And so the two sort of starting points, I guess, would be the machine shop and the Flamborough head. For people doing design work, especially in the context that you're in, you can just choose to disregard things or choose to include things. It'll be harder for council to make some of those decisions, but they too could do that in the future and decide to do something very modern there or something quite different there, and sort of abandon the vision of Lot 5 in its whole and come back with a completely different look. But there are options. So I was mentioning the central waterfront work. You won't be able to read all this, but you get sort of an idea of what the rules are about. So here's Lonsdale, and here's the pier project with Lot 5, and the Frill Lonsdale in here. So we're trying to resolve this area together in terms of the publicly owned lands and the public spaces between them. And so what's come out of this process so far is a determination that the presentation house gallery would best be located on the Kate's property, as I mentioned. The museum would best be located here. At the time there was talk that the theater group Presentation House Theater wanted to locate on Lot 5 as well. They've since sort of stepped back from that, and they think they could either stay where they are, or they could function in covered open space, and maybe even in tents to do something more seasonal, a bit more like Bar on the Beach does. And they don't need a year-round permanent facility. It costs a lot of money to build and maintain a facility, and the prospect of doing that is pretty daunting. So they're opening up ideas of other possibilities. So we did